Here's a top 10 list of some of my favorite underrated DOS games. We've all heard of Doom and Wolfenstein and Quake, but there were so many other great games in the 90s that didn't get as much attention. Some of these games you might have played, other ones you probably never heard of, but we're going to check out 10 great underrated games that are worth playing today. First up is Flight of the Amazon Queen, a 1995 point-and-click adventure by Interactive Binary Illusions. This is a developer from Australia who also made Alien Carnage. I covered that game in my side-scroller video as well, if you want to check that out. The story is that you are a pilot for hire by the name of Joe King, who crash lands and is kidnapped by a tribe of Amazon women. He agrees to help the tribe against a mad scientist who hopes to conquer the world by turning these women into dinosaur warriors with an invention he made called the Dino Ray. It's wonderfully absurd, very similar feel to Fate of Atlantis, which is my all-time favorite point-and-click game. In fact, the story is no more absurd than Fate of Atlantis' theme of Hans Ubermann and Klaus Kerner trying to conquer the world with the power of Atlantis. Although I didn't play this game in the 90s, I had never heard of it back then. I am playing through it now, and it's thoroughly enjoyable and worth checking out. The next game was not a commercial title, but it was actually a marketing gimmick for General Mills Chex cereal that gained a cult following. Of course, it's Chex Quest, released in 1997. The marketing gimmick definitely worked. I certainly bugged my mom to get a box of Chex cereal, and my friends bugged their parents as well. It's a non-violent conversion of Doom, where you play a Chex warrior that's wearing a Chex-shaped suit of armor, battling slimy green creatures called Flemoids. You have a device called a Zorcher that teleports the Flemoids back to their dimension. Sales of Chex cereal actually increased in 1997 by 295% over the previous year, an increase that General Mills directly attributed to the Chex Quest game. Around 5 million copies of the game were released. I actually have an original CD right here. It comes with 50 free hours of America Online on it too. The game does still have a following. There were several sequels made for it, and you can find quite a few places online to download the original. Next on the list is PowerSlave, a 1996 first-person shooter game by Lobotomy Software. I couldn't find any other games that this company made. It looks like this was the only original game aside from them doing a few ports. It utilizes the build engine, which is the same engine that Duke Nukem used. It's one of my favorite engines to work with. It takes place in Egypt, where the player battles mummies, enemies that look like some kind of ancient Egyptian gods from hieroglyphics, scorpions, and evil spirits. It's got fun gameplay, but it's your typical first-person shooter game with basic puzzles where you find the keys and flip switches, that sort of thing. In doing the research for this video, I found out that Night Dive Studios recently re-released PowerSlave in their retro-style Chex engine. They're calling it PowerSlave Exhumed. I'll have to check that out. It's available on Steam. Next on the list is Quiver. Quiver is a 1997 first-person shooter made by a sole developer named Mike Taylor under the name ESD Games. I found the original website of the game captured by the Internet Archive on May 31st, 1997. Look at that beautiful 90s HTML with animated GIFs. Only 2 megabytes. Only $29.95. Let's go to the inflation calculator. Ouch, that's over $60 in today's money. The developer made it on a 486 DX33, which by 1997 was already a pretty old computer. It was a Doom clone that was specifically made for older machines, but by 1997 we already had Duke Nukem and Quake, and so this game was pretty outdated. But it's a fun, nostalgic game nonetheless, and worth checking out if you can find it. Next on the list is Dragonsphere, a point-and-click adventure from 1994 by Microprose. It's another game I hadn't heard of until I asked the question on various online groups of which underrated games I should include in this video. As a fan of the King's Quest series, I would have definitely loved this game in the 90s. I absolutely love that series, and point-and-click games in general. It's set in a fantasy world with a really enjoyable atmosphere and rich storyline. Any fan of point-and-click adventures should certainly not miss this one. It's available on GOG and on Steam. Number 5 on the list is a game that received a little bit more attention than the others on this list, but still not as much as it deserves. Rise of the Triad. Released in 1995 by Apogee Software, it was originally planned as the sequel to Wolfenstein 3D. I'm still playing it regularly 30 years after its release. In fact, we've played it several times at some of our recent retro LAN parties. It's great for multiplayer deathmatch games. Rise of the Triad is filled with humorous elements, many attributed to legendary game designer Tom Hall, including dog mode, drunk missiles, over-the-top preposterous amounts of blood and guts. They call it ludicrous jibs. You can also set your enemies on fire and watch them turn into skeletons. The original is available on Steam. It's called Rise of the Triad Dark War. There is a remake as well as a remaster, which is pretty good, but maybe it's just nostalgia speaking, but I am partial to the original. Number 4 on the list is Beneath a Steel Sky, a 1994 point-and-click adventure by Revolution Software. I don't know how the heck I missed this one in the 90s. I absolutely love point-and-click adventure games. In fact, my all-time favorite game is Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis. Beneath a Steel Sky is set in a dystopian cyberpunk future. It's got very rich story. In fact, in 1995, PC Gamer actually awarded it the Best Dialogue Award. It's a great mix of humor and adventure. It's got challenging puzzles, beautiful pixel art. I've been playing through it lately and really enjoying it. The company Revolution Software is still around. They're working on remasters of some of their games, including one called Broken Sword, The Shadow of the Templars, which looks really great that I'll have to check out. There are so many great point-and-click adventure games from that era that I'll have to do a top 10 video of just that genre alone. Beneath a Steel Sky right now I see is free on Steam. Next up is Desperados, Wanted Dead or Alive. This is a Windows 98 era game, so not quite DOS, but still a fantastic retro game nonetheless. Released in 2001 by Spellbound Entertainment, it's a top-down stealth game very similar to Commandos Behind Enemy Lines, which came out a few years earlier in 1998. If you haven't played Commandos, I would highly recommend it, but Commandos is a little bit more well-known than most of the games on this list. Desperados is very challenging. It features a couple dozen missions. I absolutely love the stealth real-time strategy aspect of the game. It includes lots of fun weapons and tools for killing or distracting your enemies on the missions, including a snake in a bag, a musical watch on a timer, a knife, dynamite, lockpick, knockout gas, and of course lots and lots of guns. I somehow missed Desperados when it came out, but I've been enjoying it lately and will continue to do so. It's worth checking out. Let's get going. Number 2 on the list is Strife. From 1996 by Rogue Entertainment. I actually covered this game in my top 10 all-time favorite DOS games video, if you want to check that out. It's a modified Doom engine, very well done, especially for the time. It features rich story, which was unique for first-person shooters back then. It features NPCs that you interact with that send you on various missions. It has an armor that you can buy weapons from, a doctor that you can buy medical things from. One thing I really like about it is it has this stealth aspect where you don't have to necessarily kill the enemies, you can sneak by them. Although it didn't get a whole lot of attention compared to some other titles at the time, it did gain quite a following over the years, and in 2014, Night Dive Studios remastered it and released something called Strife Veteran Edition, which is available on Steam. First on the list is The Dig, a 1995 point-and-click adventure game by LucasArts. The story was where an asteroid is threatening the Earth. Astronauts have to be sent on a mission to go plant explosives on it and redirect it, but when they get there, they find out it's actually a spaceship. They accidentally turn it on and get sent to a planet far, far away, and on the planet they find signs of an extraterrestrial civilization. Super fun game, very beautiful. It took a long time to make. It was actually first started in 1989 and didn't come out until 1995. Went through several revisions. Some trivia about the game: the main voice actor is Robert Patrick. That's right, the same Robert Patrick that played the T-1000 in Terminator 2. The game was originally conceived by Steven Spielberg. It was intended for film. He actually wrote most of it, but it was deemed too expensive to make as a film production, and so he passed it off to his old friend George Lucas, who made it into a wonderful point-and-click adventure game. It features fantastic worlds that are really fun to explore, beautiful graphics, challenging puzzles in classic LucasArts adventure game fashion, and really a unique story that is thoroughly enjoyable throughout. I played through it when it came out in 1995. It's available on Steam. You can play it today. And for an honorable mention, Ken's Labyrinth. Created in 1992 by 17-year-old Ken Silverman, who would go on to create the build engine for Duke Nukem. This is where it started. He was considered a rival to John Carmack, who made the Doom and the Quake engine. It is actually a pretty fun game to play with relaxing music, and you can still find it online today. So which games would you add to the list? Please go ahead and add them to the comments, and also don't forget to please like and subscribe. Thank you very much.